the climate change meeting, where they declare everybody their enemy and they declare themselves rulers, and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and the climate exchange that Prince Charles owns part of, along with Obama and the Clintons and Tony Blair, that you will pay to leave your house, pay to cook your eggs, pay to power your fish tank, pay to feed your cat, pay to drive down the road, pay to get on a plane, a percentage to them. And then they slowly start increasing the prices until you, quote, no longer travel as much as you did before. That was announced 2 weeks ago by the Davos group. Remember? We played the video saying that the carbon tax is now being attached to the vaccine passport. It's all here. And here he is declaring war. Jimmy Savile's best friend. Look up Jimmy Savile. Declaring war on all of us. Here he is.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my plea today is for countries to come together to create the environment that enables every sector of industry to take the action required. We know this will take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries, many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector. With trillions at his disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's leaders, it offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition.
I probably said it 100 times in the last 10 years. I said it just a month ago. I said, when you see Prince Charles and you see Bill Gates and you see Klaus Schwab announce a global military Marshall Plan, he just said Marshall and Plan, that's the signal for, just hell on earth. So they're going to release real bioweapons very soon. And if you do submit to them, you will die. They're preparing to start mass murder. They've already begun it. But what you've seen the last 2 years is only a test. It's only a dress rehearsal. So guard yourself for true. This is it. And we have a psychotic House of Dracula. So that's who they are. And so you see them, oh my gosh, Prince Charles's brother might have had sex with a 16-year-old girl. And they make that the worst thing they're doing as a diversion from what they were really doing at Little St. John's Island with that big ritualistic temple. They weren't just raping children there. The locals will tell you boats were coming in all the time with kidnapped children out of the Caribbean. And these guys don't just rape children. That's child's play to them. They do something far worse. They engage in the Black Sabbath with the slow torture and drinking of their blood and the rape of children. And they don't just not care about you, they want to tear you limb from limb. They want to starve you to death. They want to humiliate you. They want to kill your children. They want to ruin your hopes and dreams because they're miserable and they're evil, and the only thrill they get is hurting people and projecting their own hate of themselves onto us. They are beyond God's reach because they have turned against the Holy Spirit. And they have committed themselves to pure evil, and they are nothing but empty husks. And they interbreed to pass on their genetic twisted bloodlines so they can resonate at a stronger frequency with the lower dimensions. They are black holes to hell. When you look at Boris Johnson, looks just like a Jimmy Savile, doesn't he? You look at Prince Charles smiling with Jimmy Savile in that photo. Can you imagine being a small child in a dungeon and the door opens and in walks that? That is a creature just absolutely in love with death and in love with evil and in love with annihilating and attacking society and civilization. That is your enemy right there. And he is as happy as he's ever been and is having his coming out party now as he's the unofficial king of England and that whole submerged empire.
Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector. With trillions at his disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's leaders, it offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition.
So the United Nations, that's what he's talking about, set up by his family and others to take over the world and to be the new British Empire, needs more than all the gross domestic product of Earth for them to carry out the transformation that shuts off even the growing of organic food, saying that's bad because plants put off carbon dioxide and oxygen. You heard me right. I'm not joking. I read you CNN saying the same thing last week. I mean, are these aliens here terraforming the planet that don't want us to have any life here?